Hey everyone, welcome back to Coffee with Roy. I am super excited to share some coffee and chat today. We are inching closer and closer to Thanksgiving and the holidays, and my home is feeling very cozy. So today I want to make a cup of coffee with you and then share the story about when I bought my house. I am so grateful for this home every single day, and I'm even more grateful because I almost didn't buy a house at all. I see a lot of first-time home buyers out there right now sitting on the fence waiting for the right time to purchase their home. I also see so many buy-up buyers concerned about interest rates and holding back from starting their search while they outgrow their current homes. I get it, trust me. Today I want to share with you how scary it was when I bought my home and how grateful I am to have bought it when I did. All right, let's start with a cup of coffee. So I'm going to use this really cute little pour over that I bought while I was on vacation. I'm really excited to take it with us to Thanksgiving because it packs flat so I can put it in my bag. And I only have to make coffee for myself. I don't have to make coffee for the entire family. So we're gonna let this brew for a second. So for this month, I picked this really cool fall blend from Cartel Coffee. They're out of Phoenix, where we just were for Gen Blue, and I really fell in love with it. It has been a very, very dear friend while the deep dark has been setting in over Seattle this year. If it's okay with you, I wanna get right into my story. Keep watching until the end of the video and see this month's demand rates. It's a special treat, so I'm saving it for last. So let's think back to 2017, which feels like a lifetime ago. I'd been a realtor for a few years at that point, and Chavi sent me the cutest, weirdest little house in Burien that was on the market, and she insisted that she and I go check it out. I fell really hard for this house. It was stylish, it was strange, and it was the perfect size for what I needed at the time. But keep in mind, I had no plan or intention of buying a home. By this point, I had come to terms that I would be a renter in Seattle for my entire life. But hey, things change. On the drive home from seeing the house, Chavi called one of our lenders and I started the application as soon as we got back to the office. And guess what? We lost the house. You see, this house went to someone with a larger down payment. Keep in mind, I was a good realtor, but not wealthy by any means, and I was doing this on my own. My parents couldn't help out with a down payment. I had just barely 5% to put down, and the market at this time was still really competitive. All summer, I toured homes and wrote offers way over asking and lost to people with larger down payments. I can't express enough how frustrating and heartbreaking it was to be a buyer at that time, especially when I was out writing offers and winning for clients at the same price point. I lost 7 offers in total. 7. Then one day in July, I was finishing up a showing for one of my clients here in White Center. On my drive back to the office to write their offer, I stopped by this boring little Rambler on the edge of Greenbridge. They had just had a price drop that day, and I could see why. It was ugly. I kind of hated it when I first stepped in the house. This is embarrassing to say because I'm sitting in it now. The whole house was painted builder beige and the finishes were tacky, and the bedrooms had tan carpet. I had to squash my thoughts as a buyer and think about this as a realtor. The location was perfect. The yard was way too big, but it would give me room to grow. And the house, while boring and frankly, quite ugly, was workable. I could do most of the cosmetic work myself, and it somehow had an ADU that was all set up for guests. I called Rocky to talk it through, and after weighing the pros and cons, I asked him to write the offer that day. And he did, and lo and behold, we won. So during the inspection, we did find some surprises, but they weren't deal breakers. They did make the price feel a little less like a deal though, but the seller was willing to give me a credit for a new washer and dryer, so I stayed in it. As we walked towards closing, I got really worried. I was terrified that 5% down wouldn't be enough money. I was anxious that my monthly payment would be too much to spend each month. I went from a $1,000 a month studio apartment to a $2,700 a month mortgage. That's a huge jump, but I stuck it out and I couldn't be happier that I did. Fast forward to today, and Katie and I have done quite a bit to this home over the years, and now we really love it. We repainted the whole home as soon as we got the keys. The builder beige had to go, and it gave us a chance to play with color. Some of the rooms by this point have been painted 3 or 4 times. The light fixtures and some of the bathroom fixtures were swapped out in the first couple of weeks. In addition to countless small upgrades, we've done a few larger projects too. We replaced all the floors, we did a light renovation on the kitchen, we moved the laundry into a brand new laundry area, and we updated the furnace with a new heating and cooling system. The ADU I mentioned earlier came in handy for friends who needed a place to crash for a couple of months, and the entirety of 2019, we hosted Airbnb guests, which helped diffuse the initial shock of the new mortgage payment. During the pandemic, we turned that ADU into our home office. Oh, and don't forget the yard. It looks a little bit scrubby right now because it's fall, but we have done a ton of work to make it our own. That terrifying mortgage payment also changed. We refinanced twice out of our 4.78% loan with a $700 a month mortgage insurance down to a new monthly payment of $2,200. And quite frankly, we wouldn't have been able to afford this house if we had waited to buy. For Katie and I, moving from Capitol Hill to White Center in 2017 was an adventure into suburbia. We didn't really know anything or have any friends down here, but we volunteered with our community and supported local businesses so that over time it felt like we were part of this community. In this home, we've been able to host our friends and eventually convince some of them to move down here with us. I am so grateful for Chavi pushing me to shop for a home, and Rocky for negotiating this offer, and for Katie for trusting me and making this big life leap together. 5 years on, this feels like it was the absolute right choice, which is exactly what I hope for all of my clients and hope that they'll feel that when they leap into homeownership. The only regret I do have is that I didn't do this earlier when Chavi tried to convince me to buy the house down the street from her all the way back in 2013. I hope that by sharing this story, I encourage some of you to at least consider starting the home buying process. Don't wait for everything to magically line up, because it never will. If your gut or your best friend is telling you to make the leap, then you should find a realtor that you can trust and go for it. Thank you for taking a moment to listen to my story about buying my house. I hope that I get to do the same for you someday. But before we go, let's take a look at the demand rates. Quick spoiler, they're all exactly the same as they were last time. Luxury homes, which are $3 million and above, they're sitting at 8.29. Single family homes are sitting at 2.04, and condos are sitting at 3.45, which is actually huge. If you want to buy a condo, now is the time. Thanks again for watching this video. I hope you all have a super happy Thanksgiving. We're not going to do one for December, but if you want these demand rates, give me a call, obviously, and I will see you all in the new year, hopefully with a guest. Bye!